We're all about turning a crappy situation into something positive.
$250,000 of credit
I
card debt.
still remember the day when no one turned up.
Throw it in the garbage and start from scratch.
I could give myself a chance, so I started something.
I mean, I think that counts as from poop to gold.
Our sponsor for this episode is our 14-day video script challenge.
Yes, we are sponsoring our own show.
Yes, we are.
Welcome back to From Poop to Gold. I'm your co-host, Benton Crane, and today I am joined by a couple of very special individuals. We have with us Gene Bourne and Robbie Bagley. These are the creators and producers of the show Working with Lemons. It's a YouTube channel, Working with Lemons. If I understand correctly, you're well over 3 million subscribers now.
Yeah.
And I think 5 or 6 years into this journey. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
5 and some change.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start talking about Working with Lemons. I want you guys to give our listeners a quick overview of what it is, and then we're going to dive into your backstories because that's where we really want to go with this. So let's start there. Tell us about Working with Lemons.
Yeah, so we primarily do Disney and Broadway music videos in real life, and we love telling a story cinematically and filming at locations and costumes and stuff like that, and that's where we get a lot of our joy in doing and working with Lemons.
The original one of those was Do You Want to Build a Snowman, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Featuring your sisters. I saw that has over 500 million views.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
It's pretty crazy.
It was one of those, so Robbie had just come home from a mission for the LDS Church, and Frozen had just come out, and he said, Mom, I hadn't seen it. He said, Mom, the little girl in Frozen, the little Anna, looks just like Mia. It's like they made a cartoon out of Mia. And so he's like, we should make a music video. I'm like, okay. So we did it. And honestly, just on $5, like we spent almost nothing. I had fabric. Then I just threw a costume on her and literally duct taped it on her. And anyway, and we just shot this thing. And I remember the first, it had 10,000 views. I was like, oh, this is such a cute video. I hope people watch it. And it got 10,000. Like, wow, 10,000 views.
We were hoping we were like 4 months late after Frozen came out.
Yeah.
So
we probably missed the wave.
It, Maybe in a year it'll have 100,000 views, and then had 10,000 views after 2 weeks. Like, this is really cool. And then
also it was like 1 million views in a month.
Yeah,
and
we're
then
like, what?
And it was crazy.
And then by December it had reached it reached like 100 million views. And our original goal was to get like 100,000 views. And then
it's crazy.
It had her, and we were blown away by it. So
yeah, that is incredible. For perspective, that I'm aware of, only one of our campaigns has crossed the 500 million mark, and that was the Purple Goldilocks campaign.
Yeah.
So even things like Squatty Potty, I think 250-ish million. I don't know the exact amount. Poopery, kind of a similar number. So that just gives perspective of just how big that video has gone. That's incredible. Okay, so I forgot to mention, Gene, you're the mom.
Yeah.
Robbie is your son, and Robbie's other siblings tend to kind of be the stars of the show, whereas both of you, for the most part, kind of hang behind the scenes. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like working together as a family?
It's the best thing ever. I love it. I mean, as a mom, I'm like, I have everything I love. I'm doing creative work, and I've got all my kids there, and my husband, he does a lot of behind the scenes too, and it's fantastic. And then also we have all this really awesome documentation of my kids growing up. It is a mom's dream, honestly. And Robbie's a really awesome director because he's super patient and really cheerful, and it's really hard to irritate him. And so our set is a happy place.
You're not a mean big brother?
No.
I wish I could say that my siblings would all say the same about me, but I don't think that's probably true.
Yeah, it's just fun because everyone in the family gets along. People, when they come on set, they're like, wow, this is really fun here. And it's because we all just get along well. We don't fight about stuff, and people don't get overly stressed out about stuff. And so it's really fun to work together. People are always really surprised at how well everyone gets along and how we work together so well. So
one of the things that's really interesting about your channel, so many of the family channels that are out on YouTube are largely unscripted. They're kind of more just kind of family vlog style, right? Yeah. But you guys have taken the route of going scripted, and you have costumes, you have scripts, you have a director. Tell us about kind of the differences and why you chose that route.
I think for us, I mean, we enjoy, like I said, telling a story, and we're all actors. We've been training to be actors and singers and performers. And
Now, did everyone do theater prior to this?
yeah, we did
Okay.
theater, and we've done film growing up, and we've been taking acting lessons for years. And there's nothing quite like being able to put all this emotion into singing and dancing and moving. I find it addicting to just like to be able to tell the story and to film it and to I don't know, tell an amazing story.
Something interesting about our family is that, with the exception of maybe Anson, and Robbie's not too much of an introvert, but the kids are massive introverts. Like have some social phobias even, where if they're in a situation and they see someone that they know, but they're and it surprises them, it like upsets them. Like they have a hard time interacting, and so vlogging is not their thing. Like
Right.
they don't want to talk about themselves. When someone says, "Oh my gosh, are you working with lemons?" or "I saw this movie you were in," or whatever, the kids are like, "Okay," and then they're like, "Yeah," and then they like run away. So vlogging just doesn't fit for us, and we have actually a second channel called Lemon Slices that it hardly has any subscribers, but we have a family sitcom that we do on that.
Okay.
And it's all scripted, and they're playing themselves, so it kind of might feel like a vlog, except it's not, because it's all scripted and they're playing like a heightened character version of themselves.
I love
so,
it.
yeah, we don't like talking about ourselves, I guess.
So, so if you don't mind, I want to dive into this introvert thing for just a minute. This has been a really interesting path that I've found myself on. I grew up in a family of extreme introverts to the point where I thought that I was an extrovert. And so I grew up thinking, oh yeah, I'm the extroverted one. I like people, I like to, have fun and that sort of thing. And it wasn't until my career put me in situations where I met true extroverts.
Oh, yeah.
That I discovered, wait, hold on a second. and I found myself, coming from these highly social situations where I would walk out and I would just be exhausted.
Yeah.
And I would just think, oh, I just need some alone time. I just need to go for a drive. I just need to read a book, whatever it is. And so this self-discovery process that I kind of found myself on, where I thought I was one, then I thought I was the other. And over time, I've discovered that I'm somewhere,
in the middle.
Yeah, it's a spectrum for everyone,
Sure.
right? I want to hear what your thoughts are on, introvert versus extrovert. So oftentimes society puts these like labels on as if like introvert is negative and extrovert is positive. But I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what your experience has been on raising a bunch of introverts.
Well, it was a surprise to me because I'm an extrovert.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. I think, like, Anson thinks he's an extrovert. Introvert, but he's not. He's an extrovert. He thrives on social things.
Okay.
We all have insecurities. Like, I will find myself, especially at events like CBX, big events like this, that I feel unimportant and I feel like, well, no one really knows who I am. So what am I even doing here? And I become an introvert in that moment.
Okay.
And then what I've noticed too with my kids is that even the ones that genuinely recharge by spending time by themselves, like I think that is the true definition of an introvert, is someone who recharges by that.
Are you energized by people,
Yeah.
Right.
or is your energy exhausted by being with people? Yep.
So I say 5 out of the 6 of my natural children are introverts, based on that definition, and 2 out of the 3 of my stepkids are also introverts. So they just don't prefer the crowd, where I do and my husband does. As a mom, I remember thinking like, what, you want to stay home on a Friday night? Are you insane? Like, why would you? I would not be caught dead in high school home on any weekend, And my kids are like, I would see them choose, like we'd have a bunch of kids at our house and then all of a sudden Robbie's home by himself. And I'm like, where'd everyone go? He goes, oh, they went to the park. I didn't want to go. And I was like, what? Like, how's it? It's 10 o'clock. Like, how is this a thing? And, but the truth is that they're introverts, and even though they perform, like no one has a problem being on a stage, giving a talk in church, nothing like that. This doesn't bother them at all. But sometimes talking to the people afterwards, oh, hey, good job. And they're like, okay, they don't want to talk. But they do, they have this, I don't know, you should talk, as I think you're a bit of an introvert, would you say?
Yeah, I find there's so many pros and cons. There's a lot of pros to being an extrovert and being an introvert. And so, like, I'm very comfortable being alone, or like gaming with my brothers on Friday night and not going out. But I'm also very comfortable in a group setting, and like I really enjoy like meeting new people and talking to them. And so I find like there's this beautiful balance. I'm able to play both sides. I'm getting all the pros of being extrovert and introvert. There's a lot that you learn being an introvert. Like, you learn more about yourself, and you like learn, like, what do I actually want? Like, do I actually want to go to this thing? But as an extrovert, like, you meet new people and you connect and you grow, and there's wonderful things about both of them. So
I think there is a lot of creative time, though, that comes from those personal times when you're by yourself. Like, where as an extrovert, if you're always out doing stuff, I don't know how you would have much time to create.
Right.
You know? And so I think, like you said, there's these brilliant minds hiding in the introverts that, you know, they learn. And also, Robbie's a fantastic director because he's observant. He was always standing off on the side and kind of watching what was going on instead of being in the middle of it. And by doing that, he knows what he wants his scenes to look like. He knows what he wants from his actors because he's observed it for his whole life. So I think you need both for sure.
Got it. I love it. Thank you for following me down that introvert extrovert tangent. Let's get this back to your journey. So, you know, as you know, the show is called From Poop to Gold. And from our observation, every successful person has had to overcome major obstacles to become successful. You know, it's their poop moment that they then turned into their gold moment, right? So in your family's journey, can you tell us about what your poop to gold journey has been?
In a nutshell.
yeah, you take it.
We've had, I think that was a catalyst. There was a lot of life before. I ended up in a messy divorce, which there aren't many divorces that aren't messy.
And that is never an easy thing for a family to go through.
And I had, 6 kids. And for a while, just a side note, my ex-husband is great now, supporting the kids in their lives, so everything's great now. But there was some really rough years in the middle where we didn't have any money. I mean, like, literally had no income and 6 kids. And
he wasn't able to pay child support at that point.
No, and it was, and we were devastated. Like, everyone was just devastated. It rocked our world. No one ever saw it coming. It was horrible. So anyway, from that, I feel like that's where our channel name came from. Working with Lemons, we somehow had a lot of happiness during that really wretched time. Part of that I know came from our faith. Part of that came from our unity as a family. Even after Dad was gone, we had this great unity that we all just like each other. And so I think that helped too. And then part of that came from us, even in high school, Robbie was making these music videos, like parodies and stuff. And we'd work as a family on that before we even had YouTube much, and I think that we kind of got honestly into the habit of finding positivity in the garbage. And then when the name came from the idea that, like, we had almost nothing and yet we still made this really awesome video. By then I had remarried and things were good, but we still were struggling financially. I mean, like, suddenly my new husband had 9 kids to support instead of just the 3 that he used to have.
You're blending the 2 families together.
And anyway, it was pretty sketchy for a while there. But so that was really, I think, where it came from, is we just have this ability to, I don't know, be happy in the midst of a lot of trials. So
one of the great things I love about filmmaking is that a lot of things go wrong on set. You can plan for everything, and the actor's not here. Oh, we're missing this piece and this fell apart. I actually, I think we all a little bit thrive on it because it's like, ooh, okay, how can we fix this, or how can we change how we're doing this to make it work? And I find that I become more creative, and the project usually actually turns out better because of the changes that we have to make.
Because of the obstacles that you hit on the way.
Because of the obstacles, yeah. And I thrive off that. And that's where the name Working with Lemons, when life gives you lemons, we try to make a movie with whatever we have left. For example, with Doing Able to Snowman, we had like $5 for the budget. We used nylon tights for a pop filter with a hanger, with a Rock Band mic, which I plugged into my laptop, and used just GarageBand, which is a free music service. Yep. And then we used industrial lights, and we would take our curtains and cover it in front of it to soften the light a little bit, and we used like a carpet as a dolly with a tripod to kind of dolly back on the tile and stuff, and and we made this.
We
This is
filmed one of
really-
the shots on an iPhone, just because it snowed that morning. We're like, oh my gosh, we've got some snow. And so that was literally when I got a piece of fabric, folded it into a square, cut a circle skirt out of it, pinned it on my daughter, and then shoved her, out the door. And we're just at a park, in the neighborhood that had this tiny
filming
hill.
on a
and
iPhone
he's-
5.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we didn't have an HD camera at the
Yep.
time.
Yep.
We borrowed a friend's, but he lived in Ogden for the other shots. So we were like, yeah, we're just gonna shoot it. And
Yeah, we just threw everything together. And so I think that's kind of how we
love
like to
the
roll.
resourcefulness.
yeah,
It's fun. And we've had other projects where we had a lot of money and spent a lot of money on them. And then we've had some other lean times where we're like, oh, wow, we're out of money. So, and it's honestly kind of more fun to
get scrappy.
yeah, like our last, we did this modern day Aladdin, A Whole New World, and we just didn't have any equipment. We had a camera and a gimbal thing to that makes it so it's not shaky. And we had a shot of them riding on a scooter. And for us to get that shot, we tried getting it in a car, which we couldn't. We didn't have a dolly, And so Robbie and Camry got on, they were hugging each other on the scooter. So one was driving the scooter and the other one was facing backwards, hugging and holding the camera Cameron's holding the camera over his shoulder. And then, just scootering down in Liberty
Tell
Park.
me you have behind the scenes footage
We
of that.
do. It was
if you want to
awesome.
check it out, it's Aladdin bloopers, and you'll see
Yeah.
this really awkward hug, and I'm scootering down. I'm like, "You getting this shot, Cam?" She's like, "Yeah, I got it. Like, don't drop that camera. I'm borrowing
Like
it."
our Aladdin porter, his job was to stay right behind the camera. It was like the camera couldn't really move much, And so anyway, and it's just it's really fun to work together to make it happen, even when it doesn't seem like it's going to work out.
Right. Yeah, we believe that creativity thrives under constraints.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so it's so cool to see how you guys have, like you said, it's all about, when life gives you lemons, make a movie out of it.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our listeners, many of them are either wannabe or aspiring filmmakers, creators, sometimes writers, sometimes comedians. Others are marketers and entrepreneurs. But what piece of advice would you guys give to our listeners on how to get started, how to take that next step, how to chase their dream?
I think for me, the biggest thing is we found a crew. We found a team, and
Which
that
is your
was-
family.
Which is our family, and we all have a common goal and a dream of making movies, telling stories. And in high school, I found a number of friends that would do silly, goofy music videos with me. Like we filmed "Wake Me Up When Seminary Ends" instead of "September" from Green Day, and we got the seminary involved and stuff, and it had like a positive message at the end and stuff. And when you find people that have that same goal and same desires, like you can accomplish so much, and you're able to make so much more. One of my favorite things to do is to find out, what do you want to be? Like, what is your dream goal? And I try to find how can I use them to if they want to be an artist or something, great, I need pictures in the background of these videos that we're shooting. Can you paint and stuff, and can you do these things? And I'm able to find extroverts and introverts and take their talents and abilities and try to grow them and try to use them. So yeah, I think finding a team and crew to work with is one of the things that has helped our channel and helped me as a person grow.
Get some support around
Yeah.
you. How about you, Gene? What recommendation would you have?
Well, I was just thinking about that. I think to decide what it is that you want to be and what you want to do, and to not sway from that. We've had a few times. Well, even just the I call it a temptation to vlog, because we have all these followers and I have all these cute kids. I
It's
think
the
they're cute.
thing.
Right? I'm like, we could make bank if we would vlog. But for me, from what we were doing, my husband was like, hey, we could do those. I'm like, yeah, but I feel like I'd be just selling out. That is not
It's not staying true.
Yeah, I want to do something quality, and that was important to me. I'm not saying that the people that did these weren't doing what they wanted to do. They made a lot of money and now are on doing other great things with that money that they made from that. So it's not, I'm not saying that was a horrible thing to do, but for me, that wouldn't have been staying true to what I wanted to do. And that's what I think. I think if you love what you do, it's going to come out in your work. And so if that's vlogging with your family, then that is going to show up on camera if you love it. And if it's making movies and, these videos that we make with our family, it's going to show in our work. And so I think you shouldn't do something just to earn a few bucks. You should
I
do
love
it because you love it, and don't give up on it.
Fantastic. Gene, Robbie, thank you so much for being guests on our show. We really appreciate you guys coming and sharing your story and your advice for our listeners. It's been fantastic.
Thanks for having us.
Gene, Robbie, we've got a gift for you guys. We've got a couple of copies of our book, From Poop to Gold.
Awesome.
One for each of you.
That's awesome. Oh, that's so funny.
Thanks again
That's
for being
great.
here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
For our listeners, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're interested in learning more about our creative culture, the book From Poop to Gold is a fantastic resource. We'll see you on the next one. As entrepreneurs and small businesses, we all kind of reach that point where we know we've created something awesome and we want to share it with the world, right? Mm-hmm. And it's that very next step that can oftentimes be really intimidating or really scary, or you just don't know where to go next, right? And the beautiful thing about this 14-day script challenge is you get your hand held from, okay, you have this cool product, now let's go research and find the exact way to present it and message it to the world in a way that resonates and gets people excited and they're ready to swipe their credit card and purchase. And in the 14-day script challenge, you get the opportunity to go through that step by step with our writers who have done it dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah, you actually watch us go through each of the steps ourselves and create it with a real client, a real product, and it's a real campaign that's out there that's been very successful.
That's right. And the feedback that we've had on this thing has just been phenomenal. I mean, we get comment after comment and emails flowing in from people all over the world who have just raved about the impact that this has had on their business.
People tell us over and over again, it is just a huge value punch for the investment for this 14-day script challenge, and really gave them the tool set they needed to walk through it and make it happen.
And we've had dozens of students who have successfully taken the challenge, written their script, launched their ad campaigns, and driven success for their business. It's pretty amazing.
For more information, go to hbros.co/script. That's hbros.co/script.